What's going on, everyone? Healy here, and today I'm going to be ranking all 30 Team Affinity Season 4 players. As always, if you enjoy the video, make sure you click that thumbs up button. Best way to show support. Hit that subscription button if you're new and enjoy the content. And put in the comment section down below if you think I rated someone too high or too low. We're going through a lot of 99s this program. There's a lot of great selections. You can easily swap guys up and down positions depending on what you value your players. Starting off with Brett Saberhagen, number 30. He just doesn't have the pitch selection needed to be good. He has the hits per 9, but you are not going to get by with a 95-mile-per-hour fastball and just basic pitches. Number 29, I'm going with David Price. He's a lefty. He has a cutter, which is good. He has a four-seam, two-seamer. Both have the same miles per hour. The break, very good on both of them. Knuckle curve, not a good pitch in the game. 90 hits per 9, not great at this point in the cycle. And him being a lefty, there's so many great right-handed batters in the game. He is just gonna get smashed. And number 28, I'm going with John OLERUD. I feel like this guy could come back. I feel like in a couple of weeks or so, by the time I get to use this guy, he could find his way up on the rankings. It's just first baseman, doesn't have a power that a lot of other guys have, and you find similar contact. The guys like Vlad, David Ortiz, the new Frank Thomas that came out. 90 fielding, 90 reaction, 41 speed, pretty slow, but kind of comparable to other guys. Maybe the lefty bat and him playing very good defense will make some people use him over some of the other options. We'll just have to see. Right now, see him at number 28. Duke Snider. He has the contact and power versus righties. He lacks power versus lefties. He has decent contact, so that's good. At least he has 88 fielding, cool. 85 reaction, cool. 80 arm, you can at least throw some guys out. 72 speed's good for right or left field. It's usable. Center field though might be just a tad too slow. Number 26 is Eddie Matthews. Third base, first base. He has okay hitting stats against righties. Honestly, Jim Edmonds might be better than this card. John OLERUD might be better, but it's okay. 26, you could easily swap them. The 80 contact versus lefties is just really bad with all the pitchers we have and their hits per 9. He just doesn't compete against that. He has decent fielding for third base, some decent speed, but got to make sure you have a righty off the bench against a lefty. 25's Gary Carter. His contact and power versus righties just isn't it. He'd hit decent against lefties. Great defender, great arm. He has decent speed at 52. He does have the pop time quirk, so if you do want to throw runners out, you can. But the righty attributes hurt him. Number 24 is Hal NEWHOUSER. Four seam, sweeping curve, change up, slider, two-seamer. He throws hard. He has decent hits per 9, but facing him last year, pinpoint might make him better, but facing him last year, at one point, he just got super easy to hit. I could see that happening this year. Next up, we have Paul Molitor, who has amazing contact, 120, 114, 125. The power is low. His fielding, pretty low. You want to play him at his secondary, you will be playing him at bronze defense. He has great speed, great steal, though. So that could make up for it. You want to parallel him up a couple points, you can do so. He's going to get on base with the hitting. He'll steal some bags, play some pretty decent defense due to that speed. He'll have some range, but the fielding being low, power not being there, hurts him. Jim Edmonds, he has amazing fielding, pretty decent reaction, good speed, center fielder. 64 speed's not good for center field, so you're going to have to play him at right or left. He has pretty decent contact versus righties. What brings him down on the list is just his contact and power versus lefties. Power is good, but the contact being 91, we're seeing more guys in the game have at least 100 contact versus righties and lefties. Jim Edmonds always plays well though. I really wish on his signature card one year they would give him first base. He normally gets it on his other mid diamond. Marco Luciano, contact versus lefties, holds him back a little bit. He does make up for it with the power. Pretty decent contact and power versus righties with 108 and 182 fielding, 91 arms, 70 speed. Pretty solid option if you're a Giants fan. He can play third base as well. Walter Johnson, this guy's interesting with pinpoint. Look at that, 99, 99, 95, 93 for control. Doesn't really have the pitch repertoire. The only reason he's high up on this list though, take a look at his quirks. None of these other ones matter. The only ones that do is outlier 1 and 2. So he has 4-seam and a sinker, both with outlier. The meta plays better if you have outlier on the fastball and then not outlier on the sinker to get that speed differential. But having outlier twice, we know the sinker's good. It'll just destroy some people. Attributes look pretty decent though. 102 hits per 9, 120 Ks per 9. It's if you just face a good person that can hit that fastball though, you're gonna get destroyed. Wade Boggs coming up next. Maxed out contact versus righties, pretty decent contact against lefties. I feel like this card could be pretty usable. Normally has a decent swing in the game. 85, 82 power. Fielding 85, 80 reaction, 80 arm, 50 speed. Really decent card. Like we're dealing with 99s here. It's just a lot of guys coming up. We're gonna have more power and fit better. First time we've gotten a Jason Giambi MVP card. 118, 125 for contact and power versus righties. Great. 111 contact versus lefties. Good. He has 80 power versus lefties, which is great. 71 fielding. Cool. You get silver there. 65 reaction, 37 speed. Jason Giambi normally plays well in the game. If you face a righty, watch out. I don't see that ball staying in the park at all. Greg Maddux coming up next. Sinker, circle change, cutter, forcing, curveball. So he doesn't throw hard. He has a sinker, which is good. His hits per 9's pretty decent, 100. He has the stamina. He has control. Look at that. 99, 99, 96, 99, 90. He's going to be a pinpoint wizard. He has a lot of break on everything as well. The circle change being very slow and the curveball being even slower is going to help you out. Without pinpoint, I don't know if Greg Maddux would be this high up on the list. Gary Sheffield. We saw him as a collection reward last year. This year, he's a Team Affinity Season 4 guy. Contact, great. Power, great. Speed, pretty decent, 73. Arm, great. What's going to hurt him, though, is his fielding. His fielding is really bad. You want to do the grind. Not a lot of people are going to get him parallel 5. But you could get him up to silver, which will help. But that bronze defense really, really hurts him. At least he has shortstop secondary this year. You can play him in the corner outfield spots, third base, or shortstop. I want to see who runs him at shortstop. Julio Rodriguez with a future stars card. He's a right fielder, which is cool because this card with the speed, 67 speed, you're going to want to play him in right or left. Back that up, 90 fielding, 88 reaction, 97 arm. His contact across the board is 100 plus. Same with the power. Might not be as high as you want it, but this is a very serviceable card with those attributes. Trevor Hoffman coming out of 14. He's like the only reliever in this program. Why isn't he rated higher? He has great hits per 9. He has great Ks per 9. I just don't think he throws hard enough. He has the cutter, which is cool. That will definitely help you out. Greg Maddux, another one that doesn't really throw hard, but he is lower on the list. He had a sinker. Trevor Hoffman as a reliever card. Most of the time, you're going to be facing guys throwing gas. So it could help you out because guys might be a little ahead on pitches. But for me, I love when Hoffman gets brought in because then I could slow down the bat a little bit and destroy the ball. His control, pretty decent on the circle and 4-seam and the cutter. In the 80s for the slider, 70s for the curveball. Break moves a lot for the circle change, decent for the slider, decent for the curveball. Cutter, okay. Just don't think this card's gonna be very good, and I'm ready to rock him whenever someone brings him in. Jimmy Rollins. So the contact versus righties kind of low now, 93. Lefties 111. He has the 80 power, diamond fielding, diamond arm, 93, 95 for speed and steal. Switch hitter really helps him out. Jimmy could be glitchy this year, so if you use him, let me know. Barry Larkin right after him. So Barry has way more power. He has more contact against righties, which is cool. Less fielding, it's gold. You could bump it up to diamond at parallel 3. His arm's not as strong. Speed's in the 90s. I just think this guy will play way better, especially with that huge power increase. Plus 19 and maybe plus 20 versus lefties. I literally forgot it, the lefty power, but or maybe plus 30. That's what I meant. Oh my. Only can play shortstop, so that does hurt Larkin and Jimmy. Just missing out on the top 10 is Tom Seaver. 97 four seam. He has a sinker, which is cool. Differential's nice there. Slider 12.6 at 72 miles per hour, and the changeup at 76. This guy is about to be insane. Hits per 9 isn't as high as you'd like it to. His control pretty good for the four seam slider, sinker in the 80s for the curve. Changeup is 75. A lot of movement in the 90s for everyone except the changeup, and the changeup misses by 2 points. Bob Gibson throws hard. He has a 98 mile per hour fastball. He has a sinker, which is kind of close, but 3 mile per hour differential. Slider, curveball, changeup, 107 hits per 9, which is great. Great control on the first 3 pitches. Curveballs in the 80s, changeup barely missing out in the 70s. The movement very high for the first 3, curveball in the 80s, changeup in the low 70s. You could flip-flop Bob Gibson and Tom Seaver. I think they're very comparable. It's just who you enjoy using more in the game. We finally get a future stars Adley Rutschman. 100 contact versus righties, 110 versus lefties. He has great power at 90 and 98. Fielding across the board is unbelievable, all in the 90s. Speed is 56. You're wondering why he's so low. You might think he's the best catcher in the program. There are going to be a couple guys that come up that just barely beat him out in certain circumstances. So, but Adley Rutschman, if you want to use him, go ahead, because these attributes look nutty. Vinny Castilla, new legend in the game. He has 109 for contact, 111, 102 power, 80 fielding, 88 arm, 85 reaction, 51 speed. He has shortstop as a secondary. Third base is loaded, but this card looks unreal. If you're a big Vinny Castilla fan, go use him. Luis Gonzalez, due to the milestone cards, has a pretty good card this year. It gives me flashes of the Juan Soto minus we got last year. He had maxed out hitting pretty much across the board. Really good hitting for this card. 105 contact. This is the lowest contact and power number by 9 points. His fielding's pretty decent. 78, 75 reaction, 54 speed. I'm pretty sure Juan Soto had like 55 or 56 last year. So and silver fielding. That's why I said I'm getting flashbacks. Does play primary left field, which is cool. And Luis always plays well with the bat in game. Bob Feller, four seam, curve, slider, changeup, sinker, 98 hits per 9. Why is he so high? You know, he has outlier, which is great. What he doesn't have is outlier on the sinker. So he's gonna be throwing 102 with the four seam, and he's gonna be throwing like around 95 miles per hour with the sinker. His 12.6 is slow, changeup slow, slider is pretty slow. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of swings and misses, and if you're a good pitcher, he's gonna play well. The control pretty good on the four seam and slider, in the 80s for the 12.6. Not that high on the changeup and the sinker. The movement 80 only on the sinker, but he gets a lot of movement on the 12.6 slider and in the 80s for the changeup. The two catchers coming up, you got Pudge, who has great contact. Power numbers are there at 86 and 88. Fielding across the board is great. Doesn't have the reaction, but it's catcher. Don't really know what that really does. Maxed out arm, his quirks. He does have the catcher pop time quirk, which is great. Something Adley does not have. You want to take that into consideration. And the 72 speed, which is one of the fastest guys in the game at catcher. BIGGIO is back. He has better contact versus righties compared to Pudge. Contact versus lefties pretty comparable. Power still good. It's 81 and 82. Fielding's decent at 88. 87 reaction, only 80 arm. He does not have pop time quirk. He's not a catcher, but he has catcher secondary, which is great. 85 speed, which beats Pudge by 13. 90 steal. Craig's the move at catcher just because of this, the speed and his contact and power numbers. You're gonna be seeing this guy a lot. Frank Thomas, maxed out contact versus lefties and power. His contact versus righties 120. Fielding not great. It is common. Get him up a couple points, you will see him with bronze fielding, so that'll be cool. 49 speed, pretty decent for first base. The max out hitting, first baseman. Who's going to compare at the end of the game? I really don't know. Frank is back, and I wonder if he's still going to play that gold glove defense that we all saw a couple of years ago. Honus Wagner, number 2. You have the contact, which is really good. The power, just around 90 for both. Fielding is diamond. Arm is 90. 86 reaction. 95 speed. 98 steal. This has to be the guy you use at shortstop. You got Trey Turner. Cool. Play Trey in the outfield. He plays way better there, especially with that fielding. You need to move Honus anywhere, though. You can play anywhere in the infield, and you can play left field. So if you don't want to use Frank Thomas at first, you can use a really good defensive first baseman with Wagner, and he has 95 speed in that category. Or you can just toss him on left. Rounding out everything, it's like almost criminal that Mickey Mantle is a free Team Affinity card. 120, 125 for contact. What? 125, 111 for power. What? His fielding is 87, 88 reaction, 94 arm, 92 speed. Like, what more could you want? Obviously steal. I think he had better steal last year. Like, you're going to get him in a diamond defense. This guy's not really going to leave your outfield. He has switch hitting. Like, unbelievable this guy's number 1. Unbelievable that this guy's in the program. It's, you get him at 60 points. You just got to spend like a few thousand subs on exchange points. Like, come on. That's going to do it, though, for this ranking video. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure you click that thumbs up button. Best way to show support. Hit that subscription button if you're new and enjoy the content. This is Healy, and I'm out. Peace.